Right. So today we talk about fraction. By definition, a fraction is a ratio. A fraction is a ratio of two integers. Is a ratio of two integers. Let's say these two integers are a and b, so we can note a fraction a over b with something very important with fraction is that b have to be different than 0. Now, let's do some operation about fraction. First of all, we will start with addition and subtraction. How to add and subtract fractions. Addition and subtraction. Well, we have two different cases. The first case, which is straightforward, is when the fraction have the same denominator. Again. So what does it mean? Let's say I have two fractions like this, a over b plus c over b. You know, here they have the same denominator. How do I add them? It will be, I keep the denominator the same, and I just add the numerator. Same thing for subtraction. I have two fractions. They have the same denominator, which is b. I keep the denominator the same, and I subtract the top. Let's do some examples. Let me circle it, since these are the rules that I'm using. Examples. Let's say I want to evaluate these fractions. 5 over 3 plus 2 over 3. Like I said earlier, here in this case, they have the same denominator. So I just keep it as it is, and then I do 5 plus 2, which become 7 over 3. This middle step is very important. Another one, let's say I have 3 over 7 plus 9 over 7. One more time, I keep the denominator as it is, and I add the numerator, which is 12 over 7. 9 over 7 minus 3 over 7. The game is the same. I keep the denominator as it is, the bottom part, and I subtract the top. What is 9 minus 3? It's 6 over 7. Let's do one more example. How about 3 over 5 minus 7 over 5? The game is the same. I keep the denominator as it is, and I subtract the top. What is 3 minus 7? It's negative 2 over 5. So this was for the case when they have same denominator. Now, what happens when they have different denominator? When they have different denominator, we can go with a formula. When fractions have different denominator, and I want to add or subtract them, this is how I can approach it. A over b plus c over d. You see two fractions right there with different denominator. It's equal to a times d plus b times c over bd. Same thing with subtraction. A over b minus c over d is equal to AD minus BC over BD. Again, these are the formulas when they have different denominator. Let's do some example. Let's try to evaluate. Plus 1 over 4. 3 over 5 minus 1 over 2. So how do I approach these two? Well, you see, I'm in this first case right there. So I will do A times D, A times D, which is in this case 5 times 4, plus, yes, this is a times, 1 times 3 over 3 times 4. I'll just set up in this case. Now, let's evaluate. What's 5 times 4 is 20, 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. Therefore, I end up with 23 over 12, which is already simplified. B. Here I have a subtraction, where in this case, I start A times D, 3 times 2, minus 1 times 5, over 5 times 2, which is equal to what? 6 minus 5 over 10. What's 6 minus 5? It's 1 over 10. So that was a case where we have different denominator. So we are dealing with fractions. We just learned how to add and subtract fractions. Now, number 2, how to multiply and divide fractions. Multiplication and division. We're relying on the formula one more time. When I want to multiply two fractions, A over B times C over D, what I do is I multiply the numerator with each other over I multiply the denominator with each other. It's AC over BD. Next, for division, A over B divided by C over D, I will just, in order to divide two fractions, you keep the first fraction, which is A over B, and you multiply by the inverse of the second one, which is D over C. So these are the formula. Let's try to apply it. One more time. Let's say I have 5 over 3 times 1 over 2. I want to multiply these two fractions. I will multiply the top with each other. 5 times 1 over, I multiply the bottom with each other. 3 times 2, which is 5 over 6. How about B? Let's say I want to divide this same fraction. 5 over 3 divided by 1 over 2. I keep the first one, like we said, 5 over 3, and I multiply by the inverse of the second one, which is 2 over 1, which become 5 times 2 is 10 over 3 times 1 is 3. And this is how we divide fractions. Okay, so just to summarize what we just learned, let's do this practice where we have to evaluate and simplify, if necessary, these fractions. Right there we have we have to add two fractions. They have the same denominator. So remember, we keep the denominator as it is, the 5, and I add the top. What is 2 plus 7? That's 9 over 5. And I'm done. How about here? They have different denominators, so I'm applying the formula, cross multiplication, 8 times 4 minus 1 times 3 over 3 times 4, which is 32 minus 3 over 12, which is 29 over 12. How about here? Okay, you see 5 plus 6 over 3. This, we can, when you have a case like that, you can rewrite it as a fraction first. But how can I rewrite 5 as a fraction? I just rewrite it as 5 over 1 plus 6 over 3. And now I have two fractions with different denominator. I know how to deal with this. So it will be 5 times 3 plus 6 times 1 over 1 times 3, which is 15 plus 6 divided by 3, which is 21 divided by 3. Can I simplify it? Yes. What's 21 divided by 3? That's 7. Next one. Here I have to multiply two fractions. Do we remember? I just multiply the top with each other and the bottom with each other, which is 4 over 15, and I'm done. Last, not least, 4 over 3 divided by 2 over 5. I keep the first fraction as it is, and I multiply by the inverse of the second one, which is 4 times 5 over 3 times 2, which become 20 over 6. Can I simplify it? Yes. Because remember, simplify means divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number. In this case, they have a common factor, which is 2. So I will divide the top and the bottom by 2, which is 10 over 3. And we are done. Thank you.